Well, we're back again, my friends. Welcome to another fantastical end of the month where I make do with what I owe you. And we're here. Paid time off. Number, who knows what it is, but I owe you 3 of them by the end of this month. Here's the first one coming out tonight. On 6/25/2024, it's your boy, Carlos Ramirez, Sick Days Podcast, bonus episodes, paid time off. Thank you for being a paid member. I hope you enjoy this. And guess what? Another person's dead. Another person has gotten hit by the train in Red Bluff, and this time it's a man. So that kind of throws away my whole idea about best anime cat girls. Okay, before we get to anything, let's talk about best anime cat girls. I'm curious about this one. All right. Thank you for joining me on the best anime cat girls video. Come on, MSN. This is the type of news you bring me. Hope you guys been doing okay. It's been hot. It's been really hard to record things because it's so hot, and I have my daughter week on, week off, and it's kind of hard to do podcasts with her around. I love her a lot, but she wants all my attention, and I have to give it to her. It's my duty as a father. Happy Father's Day to whoever has a kid. Shouts out me. All right. Let's see here. Who are the best anime cat girls? Batman, the 7 weirdest versions of Catwoman. Okay. Dejiko, royalty reduced to retail. Carl, or Carol. There's no photos here. What internet am I connected to? There's no cat girls here. What the hell? Oh, that's why I'm not connected to the house internet. Which is... Where the hell's my internet? Come on, pop up. There it is. Now we're going to get some anime cat girls going. Yeah. Smash that like and follow button if you like cat women. We connected? Alright. Let's refresh that. Let's see all the iconic girls in anime that are cat women. Oh, speaking of cat, that's Theo. No, Theo, you're not gonna... No, you can't be in this episode. You made me mad. You scratched the hell out of me earlier. Oh, ignore that cough. Let's see. Still no photos of these cat girls. Well, that was that. Okay, now back to business. 4th person killed by train in Red Bluff. What is going on here? Let's look it up. 4th person killed by train in Red Bluff. Now, it's been about a month, and Kelly Fontaine. All right, man dies in 4th Red Bluff train fatality since May 23rd. So it's been about a little bit over a month, and 4 people have died, which is crazy. All right, George Johnston, you're back again with these crazy reads. Let's get into it. There has been another death in Red Bluff due to a pedestrian being hit by a train. The Red Bluff Police Department said Amtrak contacted the department at 3:18 a.m. Sunday regarding a train collision involving a pedestrian. Officers responded to the train tracks near South Main Street and the Interstate 5 railroad tracks overpass, where they found the man who was pronounced deceased at the scene. According to law enforcement, during the initial investigation, it was determined an Amtrak train was traveling south in the area where the man was sitting on the tracks while facing south. The conductor sounded the train's horn, but the man did not get off the tracks. He was struck by the train and died. Amtrak conductors stopped the train and were cooperative during the investigation. After the officers concluded their investigation, train traffic resumed. A coroner responded to the scene and took possession of the deceased. The police department says that the Tehama County Coroner's Office will not release the man's identity before the next of kin is notified. This is the 4th incident in recent weeks of a pedestrian being struck by a train. 2 other people were killed, and 1 was left severely injured. The Red Bluff Police Department has repeatedly cautioned residents about the dangers of walking on the train tracks, which is a crime. All right. Still no sign of foul play. It's just people sitting in the train tracks. I don't know if the man was toasted off his mind or if he had very suicidal thoughts and maybe he saw those other people get hit by trains and he said that's the way to go, or maybe he was deaf. Who knows? who knows what happened. It's been really hot lately too, so that gets people all riled up here in Northern California. So that sucks. I'm sorry that man died. I guess my original thought with the 3 people getting hit by a train, I totally thought there was some like serial killer out there throwing bodies in front of trains for the hell of it. But now it doesn't sound like it. Sounds like he's a serial killer who likes to kill multiple people. I don't think it's that either. It might not be. I don't know what it is, but like, there's a lot of people jumping on the trains this year. It feels like an episode of, like, a chapter of the It movie, like chapter 3, and the town does evil shit, you know? And this time people are just throwing themselves in front of trains. The homeless people need to be very careful. They should just, I guess they've tried to fence it off, but people just keep cutting it open. Like, don't go stand in front of trains, man. That's not good for you. It really isn't. Really, really odd. Yeah, well, I hope everyone's okay. And if another one happens, I don't know what to say about it, guys. There's way too many people getting hit by trains. Like, there's no reason why there's this, like, cluster of people. Like, this hasn't happened in so long. We usually get, like, one every 3 or 4 years someone gets hit by a train. And it's usually, like, a young kid who's drunk or something like that. Or someone who is suicidal. Sorry for that bumper noise right there. Sorry, I had to switch hands. I'm sorry. But, like, I don't know. It's just weird that this many people are getting hurt by trains lately. Well, in other news, how have you guys been? Have you been following the faith of Christ and his all-loving aura? I asked God a question the other day. It wasn't a question, it was more of a statement. I was saying, God, I'm lost. What do I do? Because on my way to work, it felt like I wasn't going to the right place. It felt like I was going somewhere where I didn't need to be. Of course, I need to go to work, and I love my job. But it really felt like I didn't know what the hell I was doing in that moment. So I let it out into the Lord's universe, his creation. And he responded with a video on my Instagram. No, on my TikTok. Well, I guess he didn't send me this. I remembered a video after I said that. And the video talks about your goals. And then it talks about having mentors and how to leverage things and stuff like that. And so I dwelled on that for a bit. I was like, okay, I need to be reminded how my goals are, or what my goals were. And I looked at my goals that I've written down, and I was able to cross off like 3 or 4 of them that I've written last year, which is pretty sick. I didn't think I'd get that far, but I got them. And I had to rewrite some of the goals because they're different now. My goals are different. Once you finish something, you got to make a new goal. You can't just stop. And I only did the first part of that video where it told me to set up my goals. I've never did the mentor part because I've never really had a mentor. And it said if you don't have any mentors, think of 10 people that can get you where you need to go. And so I dwelled on that. I tried to think. I couldn't think of anybody who's trying to do the same thing as I'm doing or is at the space where I want to be, or like what I look up to in this area, in this immediate area that I could physically see. And I don't know anyone personally who's at the goal that I want to attain. So that was really difficult. But then I started reminding myself about how I never got to mentor people. More or less I did. No, I'm sorry, I said that wrong. I've never been mentored by people, which sucked because I see everyone who's successful, including my mother, who recently became a teacher. She had a mentor. And that's how she reached her goals. It helped her a lot. Not only just having a mentor, a lot of other things took factor, but that was probably a really important piece. She met someone who was at the level that she wanted to get to, and she learned from them, and now she's at that level, or at least getting to that level quicker. I've never had that. I didn't know anyone who wanted to open up a skate shop. I don't know anyone who really wants to have a successful podcast or a YouTube channel or anything like that as growing up, or starting their own brand and making it successful. I didn't know anyone who's reached that level. So always a shot in the dark for me. And I always ended up having to mentor other people on the mistakes that I made. And that's what I realized. I was like, oh, that's why I feel lost. I'm not leading the way I want to lead. Or I don't have a team that I can lead, which I really miss having. And this opportunity came up at work where one of my coworkers was telling me that there's a leadership conference. And I asked my boss if I could go. And she said, yes, you can go. That'll be awesome. It's in Chicago. So now, in a couple months, I'll be going to Chicago for a leadership conference. That shit blew my mind. I asked, again, I'm sorry to be super religious lately, but like, I asked God a question, or I let him, like, I genuinely asked out loud, what do I do? And all these things happened within a few days. And like, maybe me saying things out loud actually helps my brain think, and that's how I process stuff. And then things come out. But it's just really odd that now that I have this connection with this powerful force, that it's helping me. I don't know. And my journey is really weird. So we'll see where it ends up. But I have zero complaints as long as, like, I know bad things are still going to happen. God's not going to stop all the bad things that happen. But like, I really feel like I've reached a step forward in my life cycle. If that makes sense to you guys. And I know sometimes people feel stuck and you don't know what to do, and you do what you can to figure out how you want to get to your next level of life. This isn't not a how-to, but I want to share, not my goals, but maybe, actually, yeah, I'll share my goals. Let me get my phone out. Sorry. Okay, I'm going to show you, I'm going to tell you my goals right now. Right now you're just looking at a random screen with advertisements. I'm sorry for that. Maybe I'll screenshot them, or I'll put the video in here. All right. So here are my 90-day goals. Or let me reiterate the video. It told me to make my 1-year goal, my 3-year goal, and my 10-year goal. And then after that, a 90-day, what should I do in 90 days to become successful? So I'm going to go over how I wrote it down. I did a 1-year goal, a 2-year goal, a 3-year goal, 5-year goal, 10-year goal, and a 25-year goal. Now, like I said, I've had to change these, and they could change over time. And now I'm not going to probably reach everything, but it's good to write things down for yourself if you want to try to visualize the life you want to live or the journey you want to have. It's not going to come out exactly how you want it to, or it's not going to unfold the way you thought it would, but keeping yourself on track will make things so much more engaging and more conscientious about the decisions you make, if that made sense. I don't know how to tailor that together. I'm trying to work on my speech skills, okay? Anyways, here's my 1-year goal. Cut my debt in half and have at least 1,000 followers on the podcast on Spotify. Now, these goals don't seem huge. 1,000 followers isn't a lot compared to some people, but it's huge to me. We're at 53 right now, so we got a ways to go, but that's 1 year. And cutting my debt in half. I was 30,000 in debt, and I've paid off 2 of my cards, so we'll see where we're at in a whole year. Maybe won't be in debt anymore. Maybe my debt will be more than half paid off. Whatever the case, I made a kind of realistic goal, because you can get to 1,000 followers in about a year, and you probably can cut your debt in half if you try hard enough within a year. So that's my 1-year goal. Now, on my 2-year goal, it was to be out of debt, manage Aurora's savings properly, ask Destiny to marry me, have 100,000 followers on Spotify. Now, this is a mix of smaller goals and bigger goals and bigger decisions. Who knows how it'll end up, but it's nice to see a little farther into the future, kind of plan my steps out. Then we go to my 3-year goal, and these might change. You never know where you could be. I want to start a distribution company, a skateboarding distribution company with a couple brands, and learn how to build those up. Don't know where I'll be in 3 years, but if I'm in the position to do it, I will most likely do it. Get a warehouse space, which goes with the distribution company. Support Destiny with her goals. Hopefully she's in a position where she can focus on her goals again. And then have 500,000 followers on Spotify. Again, that one's a little outlandish, but if we keep dreaming, if you can dream it, you could do it type stuff. And then we go on, after 3 years, we go to my 5-year goal, which is open a coffee shop with a partner. Now, I say partner because it's not easy to have a coffee shop. I don't know if I'll be in a financial situation where I can open a coffee shop, But if I am in 5 years, that's definitely what I'm going to do. And have at least 1 million followers on Spotify. Yeah, that one's a big one. And again, the follower ones is like, that one's more like a superficial one for myself, because it's so outlandish that the chances are that it won't happen, but if it happens, that'll be crazy. You know, I have those in there just to keep my brain like motivated to do things, if that makes sense. So that'd be my 5-year goal. So we went through 5 years worth. 1, 2, 3, and 5. We skipped 4 because sometimes it takes a little time to grow things. Then we move to my 10-year goal. So by this time I'd be 38. Be happily married. Have a wonderful family. Live in an enjoyable house. And running multiple businesses. So breaking that down, being happily married, meaning I'm in a relationship where we're both supporting each other and accepting each other's flaws and growing. I consider that a happy marriage. Having a wonderful family, like I technically already have a wonderful family, but just having that idea ingrained for a lifetime for me is important. Live in an enjoyable house. So what I'm not saying some giant house, I'm saying a house where I'm comfortable in, where I have my own study, I guess, or an area to do my podcast stuff, or a room for Aurora to play in. She has her own room now, and a garden or a backyard to do things and have friends over. That's what I mean by all that. I'm running multiple businesses. That could be building upon the distribution company and a coffee shop and the podcast and who knows what else. I would love to be a person to do multiple things like that. And then we reach my 25-year goal. By this time, I'll be 50 something, maybe 54, 55, not too sure. But I want to have a master's degree. I want to go back to school eventually. And then I want to have a show where I travel. Don't know what kind of show it'd be. Maybe it's one where I go to coffee shop and skate shops and just talk to people and the owners and interview them and have the history and the lore behind those shops. That would be fucking awesome to do. Again, don't know if it'll happen, but that's my 25-year goal. And hopefully all these things I do between those other goals will help lead up to that. And I think it will. Oh, someone just sent me a message. Hey, what's up, dude? I am recording an episode for the bonus podcast. I love you, Sam. I hope your marriage is going great. So my friend Sam just messaged me. He said he's checking up on me. And he is a person that I married. I didn't marry him, but I used my marriage license. They asked me to be the proctor or the priest guy. And I did it in English and Spanish. And it was nerve-wracking. I think I talked about it before. But I'm glad he sent me a message. I'm going to preach to him about God now. But yeah, those are my 1 to 25-year goals. And then we're at the part where, what can I do in 90 days to be successful, in my opinion? This is what I put down. Show love to everyone around me. Post episodes of the podcast consistently. Save $1,000 for emergencies. And find a mentor. And when I got to the mentor part, is when I realized I have no mentors. I can't find anybody. I don't know who to talk to. Obviously, I have my parents, but their goals are very different from mine. I can ask them for life advice and stuff, but I can't ask them something specifically related to podcasting or running a business because they haven't done that. That's not in their interests. And that's when that whole thing about saying it out loud and figuring that whole thing out. But one thing I read upon was learning from books and videos and articles about what you want to do is the closest thing to having a mentor when you can't get one. So I did what any sane person would do right now in this time of age. I asked AI, what skills would I need to work on to improve my podcasting? Because the podcast is a backbone for me and my creativity and something that I want to use as a tool to become successful in my own way. And here's what it gave me. I must work on my voice. I got to work on my writing, my interviewing, my editing. Sound quality is a big factor, and marketing. So this is a lot of things here. Like, you have to practice these things consistently. Sound quality is something I can work, but that costs money. So the more money I have, the better equipment I can get. So that's figured out. There's no skill involved in that. It's just being smart on what I buy and soundproofing a room. Editing, that takes practice, which I'm pretty okay at. It's just me not being lazy. It's putting the time in to edit something, which is doable. Interviewing. I came to a little halt here when I started talking about interviewing because I tried looking up books and audiobooks about interviewing people, and the only things I would get were things about how to go through a job interview and not actually how to interview a person. I know how to talk to people, but I wanted to see if there's like a a blueprint or like a path to how you interview someone. And so I found this book on how to talk to people. It was made for introverts and extroverts who are like socially awkward. And so I've been listening to it. It's only like 3 hours, but it's kind of touching bases on what I already know about social cues and how to navigate a conversation. But that's the closest thing I can find. So I'm listening to that right now. And then writing. I suck at writing. I need to practice more writing. The only thing I've done with writing is writing my goals. I need to start writing maybe short stories. I don't know. I need to write jokes, I guess. Something to get my brain like fixated on writing a narrative. Not a negative narrative, but just like an idea of a narrative, if that makes sense. Of like when I want to interview somebody. Then we have work on my voice. I looked that up on how to work on your voice and make it more pronounced. And I got to speak from my diaphragm. So I got to do breathing exercises, which I will try to do and work on. And then we have marketing. This is some stuff like you really need like an education on. So maybe I might take a small accounting and marketing course at our local community college just to brush up on those skills, because I get it. This is a show. This is entertainment. In entertainment, you advertise yourself to people come and listen. And the more people that listen, the more chances you get an advertisement and you get paid. I get that. I really don't care about that part, but I know it's a skill I need to have. And so I need to learn how to edit so I can therefore market the podcast properly to find the audience who wants to listen. And so far, you guys are here. And I appreciate everyone who's here. I just need to learn how to hone that skill and actually make it useful, per se. And that's all I've been writing down for that. I have no mentors. I said that like a billion times. I guess my mentor is Jesus and God. And through them, I will accomplish anything. Ain't that right, brothers? Hell yeah, brother. Can I get a hell yeah, brother? Hell yeah, brother. But I think that's all I want to talk about today. What do you guys think? I know this was a short episode, but I kind of got things aired out of what I needed to say. And stop running into trains. My friend's dog pooped on my electrical outlet this morning. I was about to sit down and have my coffee. I had to clean a litter box, cleaned the kitchen a bit, had my food, took a shower, came out of the shower, made my coffee. And as I sit down, I see my cat, Theo, sniffing over in the corner on one of the electrical outlets, the power outlet thing. And I look over, and it looks like chocolate. And I just give a big sigh. And I go over there. And luckily the poops were hard and not slimy, but he got it on the the power brick thingy outlets, you know? And it was on different things, like the TV's cable, the internet cable, and stuff like that. And yeah, picked up that poop, disconnected everything, wiped it down, sprayed some air freshener, threw the poop away, came back, and then there was pee in front of my door. And that was my fault because I tried to take the dog out yesterday and he didn't want to get out because he was being stubborn. So I was like, okay, maybe he doesn't need to go to the bathroom. But usually I wake up and first thing I do is go to the bathroom for him. But I didn't. I decided to be a little selfish and clean and shower. And that's where I made the mistake. Thank you, Lord, for the lesson of responsibility, I guess. So, thank you, Phil, for having Link over. He's a good dog. Sometimes he just needs to poop. And this dog poops a lot. If I take him outside to poop, he poops 3 times, like separately. So he had some loaded even when I took him outside. He still had to go. But he's a good boy. It was my fault. This is why I don't have a dog, because I don't think I can be as responsible as I want to be yet. I'm too busy. I got too many things on my mind, and my morning time is one of the few times where I have myself to think and plan my day in my head, or gamble like a degenerate, whatever the hell I do, because it's my morning. Anyways, thank you guys for listening to this episode. Paid time off. Don't forget, I will have a new Sick Days episode up soon, and I love you guys. I'll see you in the next one, alright? You got 2 more coming out this month. Peace.